Hey everybody, my name is Andrew,
And I'm Suzanne.
and you're listening to Culips. Hello, Suzanne.
Hello, Andrew. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. A little sleepy today, but doing pretty good.
A little sleepy. Did you have a long day?
Today was a long day.
We're recording this midweek, Suzanne. It's Tuesday, so that means it's almost hump day, right? We
Yes.
call Wednesday hump day. And we call Wednesday hump day because, well, it's all downhill after Wednesday, right? The weekend is in sight. So this is good news, right?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the topic of our Speak Easy episode. Wednesday kind of links the beginning of the week to the end of the week and the weekend.
Ooh, yeah. Very good connection. Very good segue, Suzanne. I'm impressed. And yeah, guys, so like Suzanne just mentioned, today we are doing a Speak Easy episode. And Speak Easy is our pronunciation series where Suzanne teaches us how to improve our accents and speak English really, really naturally, to sound natural when we speak. Just before we get started, I want to let everybody know that the study guide for this episode is available for download on culips.com, our website, culips.com. So if you want to study along with the study guide, visit the website and give it a download. Okay, Suzanne. So what are we going to be studying today?
Well, Andrew, whenever you hear English spoken, like, from your friends or fluent second language speakers,
Mm-hmm.
you may notice, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you may notice that a lot of the times the words blend together.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes it's almost like I don't know where one word ends and where another word begins. It's like a steady stream of words.
Yeah, like sometimes it sounds like one big word instead of many words making one thought. And that is because most of the time they're using a form of connected speech called linking.
Linking. Okay, so this is actually kind of pronunciation feature, linking.
Yeah. So today we're going to take a look at some of the ways that we can make our speech more fluent by linking words.
Okay, very good. So we'll
Yeah.
study how to link words together to make our speech sound more fluent.
Yeah.
So, how do native speakers link words? How do they connect words together?
Well, one of the ways that they link words together is that they take the end of one word, so the last sound of one word, like a consonant, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and they link it or carry it over to the beginning sound of the next word. Usually, let's say in this episode, it's going to be a vowel. So linking a consonant at the end of one word to the vowel sound in the next word.
Okay, very good. You know, Suzanne, I think here an example could be very useful.
Totally.
Could you give us a concrete example of what this looks like or what this sounds like in speech?
Sure. So say we have the word pot, right? Like you're cooking in a pot.
Okay, pot.
Yeah. Or cap, like you're wearing your baseball cap.
Mm-hmm.
Or book, right? You're reading a book. So those end with a T, a T sound, a P, or a P sound, and a K, a K sound, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at the phrase, put the pot on the stove, right? Put the pot on the stove. Put the pot on the stove. We're taking the T from pot and we're carrying it over and we're bringing that sound into the word on, pot on, pot on, pot on the stove.
Ah, I see. So we actually carry the pronunciation of that T over to the start of the word on. So it's not pot on, but pot on.
Yeah, pot on. Exactly.
Okay, pot on.
You want to try that phrase?
Yeah, so put the pot on the stove.
Exactly. Exactly.
How did that sound? Did I do a good job?
You were fantastic. That's why they pay you the big bucks, Andrew.
That's why I'm making the big bucks. Yeah.
So let's look at the next word, cap, right? Like your hat, your cap. So in the phrase, took my cap out of the box, you might carry that P in cap over to the word out, like cap out. Took my cap out of the box. Took my cap out of the box. You want to try it?
All right. Yeah, took my cap out of the box.
Yeah. It almost sounds like the word is pronounced cap out. Right?
Yeah. Now, what about this, Suzanne? In this phrase, we have cap out of. The word out is followed by of, which also starts with a vowel. So do we
Exactly.
have two instances of this happening in the same phrase?
Exactly. You're exactly right. We do.
Okay.
So we have the P going over to the ow sound in out and the T in out going over to the sound of. Cap out of the box. Cap out of the box.
Very nice. Okay. And you have another example here, I think, with that word book, right?
Yeah, exactly. So say we have the phrase, put the book up on the shelf. So here we're going to carry the k sound in book over to the sound in up. And I bet you probably noticed that the P in up is also going to be carried over to the sound in on. So put the
Okay.
book up on the shelf. Put the book up on the shelf.
Put the book up on the shelf.
Yeah,
The book up on the shelf. Put the book up on the shelf.
exactly. So you don't want to stress it so much so that you're saying book up, but you want to connect the words. So it's book up on the shelf. So it's a more delicate connection. You don't want to stress it too hard. Otherwise, it doesn't sound like the actual words you want to communicate. So you just want to make sure that it's a delicate connection.
Right. They are linked. There is a connection there.
Yeah.
And I think, maybe this is not totally new to a lot of our listeners. I know in the Korean language, this kind of connected speech happens. It also happens in French, right? So
Right.
it's very likely that in our listeners' native languages, that this kind of linking also happens.
Exactly. I do know that a lot of times when you're learning a new language, we don't expect it to be like ours. So we sometimes ignore the similarities and we don't realize that in our language there might also be linking, and maybe in the language we're learning there could be linking as well. So it's just a nice reminder that it's there and you can use those skills from your first language into your second language.
Now, one thing I noticed with all of these examples that you provided, Suzanne, is that they all occur with prepositions, right?
Yes.
On, out, up. And actually, prepositions in English start with vowels, right? In, on, up, under. There's a
Yep.
couple that don't, like down.
Yeah. Or from.
But most of them start with vowels. And so I think when you're saying a prepositional phrase or using a phrasal verb, you're going to have this connected speech occurring almost all the time.
Absolutely. Like pick up or put on, right? Put on,
Put on.
pick up, back out. That's something you definitely will hear in a lot of phrasal verbs because, yeah, those phrasal verbs start with an action and then include a direction. And usually in English, the directions start with a vowel, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is just another thing that makes phrasal verbs difficult to learn. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. But this can maybe help you sound a little bit more fluent when you do it. Hey, Andrew, do you want to listen to some dialogues with some examples of linking in them?
Yeah, let's do that right now. Hey, can you pick up the dry cleaning on your way home?
Oh, I wish I could, but I have a late meeting on the other end of town.
No problem. I'm just in the middle of a huge deadline, and it's already 5 o'clock.
Okay, let me see if I can arrange something. Is it open until 6? If so, I think I can pop on over.
That's amazing if you can swing it. I know it's tight, but I need those shirts over the weekend.
No worries, I'm on it. Okay, Andrew, let's listen to the dialogue again, but this time a little bit slower. And see if you can notice the linking happening. And maybe you can also notice that the words that usually link are articles or prepositions or things that we don't normally stress very often and can sometimes blend together so quickly that we don't even notice that we're linking them. So let's listen to that a bit slower.
Okay. Hey, can you pick up the dry cleaning on your way home?
Oh, I wish I could, but I have a late meeting on the other end of town.
No problem. I'm just in the middle of a huge deadline, and it's already 5 o'clock.
Okay, let me see if I can arrange something. Is it open until 6? If so, I think I can pop on over.
That's amazing if you can swing it. I know it's tight, but I need those shirts over the weekend.
No worries, I'm on it.
So, Suzanne, there were tons of examples of connected speech and linking in that dialogue example. Unfortunately, we don't have time to pick out each one and describe them to all of the listeners. But, guys, once again, the study guide's on culips.com, and we will make sure to illustrate in the study guide the examples of linking, so you can check that out in the study guide. For now, Suzanne, I think let's listen to one more dialogue example. Again, we'll play it at regular speed and we'll read it slowed down so that everyone can hear the examples of linking that are in this dialogue. So, yeah, how about we listen to that right now?
Sounds good. Hey, didn't you run in the marathon this weekend?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, but at times I felt like I couldn't keep up. I was trying to beat my record time.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, though. How did it feel finishing such a feat?
Honestly, by the end of the day, I was worn out and had trouble walking up the stairs to my apartment.
Did you guys celebrate?
Yeah, we joined Dan and Jane over at their place. They cooked up a big meal and put on some relaxing music.
Oh, so it ended up being a great day. Congrats.
Yeah, next year it's your turn to join in on the run. So, everyone, this example, you may notice it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's kind of a silly conversational example, but it is a really great example for demonstrating the linking that we're talking about today. So even if you're listening to it and you're like, what are those guys talking about? It's kind of weird. Don't worry. It's not a conversation example. It's a pronunciation example with the linked speech. And Sue, in that example, there were tons of instances of linked speech, weren't there?
Absolutely. Lots of examples of words ending in consonants that are linked over to the vowels of the next word.
So just like we did for the first example, let's slow it down for everybody so that everyone can really clearly hear the instances of linking that are in this example.
Hey, didn't you run in the marathon this weekend?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, but at times I felt like I couldn't keep up. I was trying to beat my record time.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, though. How did it feel finishing such a feat?
Honestly, by the end of the day, I was worn out and had trouble walking up the stairs to my apartment.
Did you guys celebrate?
Yeah, we joined Dan and Jane over at their place. They cooked up a big meal and put on some relaxing music.
Oh, so it ended up being a great day. Congrats.
Yeah, next year it's your turn to join in on the run.
Well, guys, today we learned a simple trick that helps our speech flow and sound a bit more fluent. It's called linking. So remember, you can link word final consonants over to the vowel at the beginning of the following word. And this will help your speech flow smoothly.
Awesome. Thank you so much, pronunciation teacher Sue, for letting us all know about how to link our speech and make it sound more fluent and more natural.
My pleasure, Andrew.
Just before we let you go, we're going to remind you to visit our website, culips.com, and we are also on social media at facebook.com/culipspodcast. If you want to get in touch with us, just send us an email. Our address is contact@culips.com. We're happy to answer any questions you may have, or if you have a suggestion for a future episode, hey, that would be great. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be back soon with another Culips episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Do you like listening to Culips? If so, please show your support by leaving Culips a 5-star rating and a review on iTunes or Stitcher. This helps new listeners find the show. So don't delay. Rate and review today.